So this is pizza dough in real time. You want to get yourself some water that's tepid. It doesn't feel hot to your finger, it doesn't feel cold to your finger. You get 2 cups. You want to be pretty precise on your 2 cups. Then you want to get some active yeast. I use 2. Could you come a little closer, please? I use 2 heaping as much as I can get on a teaspoons. So you put those in, give it a little stir. I keep my yeast in the freezer in a mason jar. So you just stir it up so that the yeast isn't all floating on the top. Next thing, we're going to measure out some flour. I've used expensive fancy flour in the past, and I've used just all-purpose flour, and I find that this gold medal all-purpose has given me the best dough I've had, and I've been making this pizza for some time. Next thing, you want to measure out 5 cups of flour. And obviously, if you don't want this much, you can use less. But I'm using level scoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't hurt to give this an extra stir. Okay, next, 2 heaping spoons of salt, teaspoons. Doesn't matter if a tiny bit more goes in because you want, 2 heaping spoons is what you want. Give this a little bit of a stir together. Make a little pocket in the center. Dump in your water and yeast mix. The counter's already been cleaned. Get yourself a rubber spatula. Do a little bit of preliminary mixing. Just enough to get everything mixed. In the past, I've tried just dumping it on the counter and it makes a mess because the water's not saturated into the flour enough. So you get it so that when you spill it out, the water's not going to run around. But you don't have to worry about mixing it too well. That's good enough. Now you want to scrape out your bowl. So if you do this in the morning before work, you come home later and you have yourself a great dough that's ready to go. All right, so then when you mix this and you knead it, if it's all sticky and really sticky and all over your hands, you probably put in a little bit too much water or you need a little more flour. You don't want it to be, and if it's mixing too hard to where you don't really get yourself a dough that's all set up pretty quickly, well then, you didn't use enough water. And what I find is if you use too much water later on, after it's risen and you try to stretch it out for your dough, you end up with something that's almost unmanageable. It's a little too moist and wants to fall apart when you want to stretch it. So you got to have it a little bit, you know, you got to be able to work it. Like this is perfect. It's not sticking to my hands. Okay. If it's stuck all over your hands, you got a little too much water, add a little bit more flour, but don't go too crazy because you shouldn't be here for like a half an hour trying to knead this. It should go pretty quick. And look at my hands. If your hands are all sticky, it's too wet. But look at how fast this can come together. It's like dough already. Now this is enough for 2 16-inch pizzas. And I guess you could be all technical and weigh it out, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it by eye so that later these are going to rise individually, so I don't have to worry about trying to separate it later. So just kind of get it to where you can eyeball it. We're going to go this way. So then what? I just take a couple of bowls. I like to use an olive oil spray. So just spray your bowls. Take your dough, stick it in there. Put a little bit of oil on the top of your dough. Then I like to put a little bit of cellophane on top. And I don't put it on tight. I make it like too big so it has room for the dough to rise. I put on 2 pieces, one in different directions. Perfect. So that's the whole process for getting the dough going in the morning. So you want to spray down your pan with cooking spray. I like to use the olive oil. Today I opted to just go for Hawaiian pizza, so I'm just going to use some canned pineapple. Gold pineapple is really pretty good. And what else? I got some Canadian bacon I'm going to use. So usually I make a lot more elegant pizza, but I've been having lots of different pizzas and they've been lots of ingredients, and today I just had decided I wanted to do this. I usually don't do the red sauce. Red sauce, what did I do? I just made this with some Hunt's sauce, and I put some garlic, some minced garlic in with it, and some Italian seasoning, a little bit of sugar, and a little salt and pepper. So that's ready to go. The dough, I just, that's been raising since this morning. Okay, this is what it looks like. I haven't pushed it down, haven't done anything except turn it upside down and dump it over here and throw some flour on top of it. Now, you know, you can take and push it out and do this, and I've done that before and I can do that, but I find that the easiest thing to do is just use a rolling pin, okay, and just kind of like spread it out a little bit in all different directions, and don't go too crazy. Try to keep it kind of circular. You see it's like sliding around nice and good now. That's good because last time I made some pizza, the dough was a little bit too wet. That's why I was mentioning you want to make sure it's not too wet. And it was kind of sticking to the counter. When I went to pull it off the counter, I was having trouble getting it off the counter and I was wanting to rip. So if your dough's too wet and it's sticking to your counter, you're going to have a problem. Now what I found also is you want to roll it out and you want to get it bigger than your pan is going to be. And the good thing about that, and then I used to take and fold them over and crumple them with my fingers. And I find that if you don't do that, if you just flip it over at the end, you have a nice soft crust that's easier to chew and it's not so hard. So that works out better that way. So basically that's spread out. I think it's spread out more than it's bigger than the pan's going to be. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get this pan over here and get this dough on top of this pan. So you just kind of get it out past the edges of the pan. I mean, it's pretty stretchy stuff now. Like it's a little thicker here. If you want, you can stretch it a little bit this way or whatever, but you just want it to be bigger than the deal. Okay, so now that's good. And just leave it like that for now. And then go ahead and, like I said, I already put the garlic in here and stuff, and I put some seasoning in it. And you know, you can make your red sauce however you want to make your red sauce. And I haven't made a pizza with red sauce for a long time. I usually just go with the olive oil. But, like I said, I was having a desire for Hawaiian, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Here we go, that's what I'm looking for. So then I just take a little rubber spatula and go ahead and get this, whether it's olive oil you're using or red sauce, just go ahead and smear it all around. That's beautiful. When I do olive oil, I always put some pepper on, and I don't think pepper is going to hurt this, so just throw some pepper on there. Okay, I haven't opened this pineapple yet. Seems like a good enough amount. I'm going to throw some Canadian bacon on there. Beautiful. And we're going to put the cheese. You know, I find this cheese works out pretty good. It's not your, I don't have any idea what, you know, the Italian restaurants use, but you know, if you go to Aldi's and you buy their cheese, it's not going to be as good as this stuff. So, and they make this also with a mixture of mozzarella and provolone, and I think that's even better. But this was on sale for like $2 off or something like that. So that's the reason I got the pure mozzarella. I like that. I prefer the provolone with the mozzarella. But So I got the oven preheating at 500 degrees. And it takes a little while to get it up to 500. I mean, it's pretty easy to get it to 350 and 400 and stuff. But boy, that last 100 degrees takes a while. And I put, it's probably better if you just make one pizza at a time. But I'm going to make 2 here today. And I stop about halfway through and switch them from the top to from the top rack I switch racks so that they both have an opportunity to be up high. But one pizza, you cook it up on the top rack at 500, and you're talking like, you know, 15 minutes, and it's like perfect. So that's pretty good there, I think. Like I say, normally I do onions and peppers and garlic and olive oil and ricotta cheese and spinach and tomato and all that stuff, and I'm not doing that today. So here, I used to squeeze this together. Now I find you just fold it over like this, just bring them in. Oh gosh, what a difference it makes. It makes it nice. It's not so dense. It's easy to chew. It's not so crispy. It's like, that's all you have to do is just fold it over like that. Look at that, huh? This is ready to go in the oven. So that's it for now. I'm going to make another one. You don't need to watch that. But here, look. I got the top rack here, and then I got a little space here. I got one down here. So it's going to put, one's going to be here, one will be here, and then at 10 minutes in or so, I'm going to switch them. So that's what it looks like. I guess you could throw a little Parmesan cheese on if you want. Two pizzas made. Obviously, this is the first one over here. We've already cut it up. Here's the second one. That's it.